A team that lifted the Super Bowl trophy just a few months ago has a serious problem at the most important position in football, my friend. And the solution one analyst publicly pointed to is not in free agency. And it is not on some rebuilding team. It is inside the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. It is a quarterback. And the window for this story to happen expires within days, on a clock that is already running. The most provocative detail is that this request is coming from a team in the Eagles' own conference. Which means that if Howie Roseman says yes, he would be handing a direct reinforcement to a rival he himself might have to face in January. And before you think this is just fan talk on the internet, it is not. This was published by a credible outlet, with the analyst's full name attached, and it is already circulating in both markets. If you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this proposal has a broken premise built into it that almost nobody has caught, and it is that exact error that reveals the truth about who is actually expendable in Philadelphia's quarterback room. Let us lay out the situation. The Eagles are heading into the final roster cut deadline, which closes this Sunday at 6 in the evening Eastern Time, with one more quarterback than they can carry. Jalen Hurts is the starter, absolutely and unquestionably. Behind him, there is a competition that has dragged on through the entire preseason, and there is still a rookie taking up space. The math simply does not work. Somebody is leaving, and it was exactly that vulnerability that caught the attention of an outside analyst who put an Eagles player's name on a public list of trade targets. His name is Tanner McKee. Michael Hanich, who covers the other team for the same Sports Illustrated editorial group, listed McKee as one of 3 trade targets ahead of that team's final preseason game. And now it is time to reveal which team wants Philadelphia's backup quarterback. The Seattle Seahawks. Yes, the reigning Super Bowl champions. The team that lifted the trophy last season with Sam Darnold running the offense. A quarterback who has been named to the Pro Bowl in each of the last 2 seasons. And why would the champion need a quarterback? The answer has a name: Jalen Milroe. Selected in the 3rd round of the 2025 draft, he arrived in Seattle with enormous expectations because of his mobility and his arm. Except reality went another way. In his rookie year, he appeared in 3 games and did not attempt a single pass. Not one. And his most recent regular season play was a badly executed pitch against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that turned into the first turnover of his career. This preseason, across 2 games, he disappointed again. Hanich's argument is blunt, and, to be honest, it is harsh. According to him, the Seahawks should make a move for a legitimate 3rd quarterback, because Milroe has shown he cannot even function as a proper emergency quarterback if Sam Darnold and Drew Lock go down. And the strongest line is this one: if Milroe steps on the field, Seattle's offense becomes limited to the running game. In other words, the defending champion would be playing with no passing threat at all. For a team that just won it all and wants to repeat, that is an unacceptable risk. In his words, the Seahawks could get a legitimate 3rd-string quarterback who would be a real threat in the passing game, and McKee has on-field experience and could be the backup of the future if Drew Lock decides to try being a starter somewhere else after this season. And it is only fair to acknowledge why McKee's name showed up on that list. He just delivered the best performance of any Eagles quarterback this preseason. 16 completions on 22 attempts, 173 yards, and 2 touchdowns, with no interceptions, playing behind a 3rd-string offensive line and with a 3rd-string group of receivers. On top of that, he has 2 regular season starts on his resume, which is infinitely more than Milroe has ever had. And across his first 2 career games, at the end of the 2024 season, McKee piled up 30 completions on 45 attempts for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns, with no interceptions at all. Those 4 touchdown passes are the most ever recorded by an Eagles quarterback in his first 2 career games. Somebody looking in from the outside sees an underused asset. But now I need to show you the hole in that argument, because it is enormous. Hanich wrote that ever since the Eagles brought in Andy Dalton this offseason, Dalton had been trending toward the backup spot behind Jalen Hurts. And that is where the entire proposal collapses, because that premise is out of date. Dalton is not the frontrunner to be Philadelphia's number 2 quarterback, quite the opposite. The writer covering the Eagles for that same editorial group, Jeff Kerr, went in the exact opposite direction and stated it plainly. McKee should be the frontrunner for the number 2 job, because Dalton has been dreadful this preseason. And Kerr went even further, arguing that Dalton has played his way off the roster. Look at the complete inversion. An outside analyst looks at Philadelphia and sees McKee as the expendable piece. The people who cover this team every single day see exactly the opposite. The expendable one is the veteran. And that changes the whole conversation. Because if Seattle really wants an Eagles quarterback, the name that makes sense is not McKee. It is Andy Dalton. Think about it with me. Jalen Milroe has never thrown a pass in an NFL regular season game. Andy Dalton is entering his 16th season, holds a record of 84 wins, 83 losses, and 2 ties as a starter, and has 2 Pro Bowl nominations. From a pure experience standpoint, there is no comparison. One man has played hundreds of meaningful games. The other has never played one. If Seattle's goal is a reliable insurance policy in case Darnold goes down, Dalton solves that problem far better. The only obstacle is pride. It is not clear whether a veteran with that kind of resume would accept being anybody's third quarterback. And now we arrive at the question that is truly worth gold, the one Philadelphia fans are going to argue about in the comments. Would Howie Roseman agree to strengthen the reigning Super Bowl champion inside his own conference, knowing he could run into that same team in a playoff game in January? The honest answer is, for the right price, probably yes. Roseman has already proven he has no sentimentality in these moments. This past spring, in the draft, he worked a deal with the Dallas Cowboys, the biggest rival in his own division, in the first round. If he negotiates with Dallas, he negotiates with anybody. Except there is a practical problem in this whole story, and it is economic. The third quarterback spot is not a high premium position in the NFL. Nobody hands over a valuable pick for a player who probably will never step on the field. The Seahawks have Sam Darnold and Drew Lock returning, and Lock is in the final year of a 2-year, $5 million contract, with 41 career games and 28 starts, which means Seattle is not desperate for anybody at the top 2 spots. They just need a third name better than Milroe. And for that, the franchise is not going to open the vault. The best case scenario for the Eagles, in the assessment of the writer who covered this story, would be dealing one of their quarterbacks to a team truly desperate for somebody who can throw the football. And the reigning champion, with 2 established quarterbacks, does not fit that description. But now, to be fair and transparent, it is essential to keep our feet on the ground, because there are 4 heavy counterpoints here. First, this is analyst opinion, not behind-the-scenes reporting. No major insider has published that there are conversations between the 2 franchises. No general manager has said anything. It is a wish list published by somebody who covers the other team, and the writer who picked up the story concluded himself that it is rather unlikely the Eagles trade McKee to any team this week. Second, the premise of the original piece is broken. Whoever built the argument started from the idea that Andy Dalton was winning the competition in Philadelphia, and that does not match what the local coverage has been showing. An argument built on a wrong premise tends to arrive at a wrong conclusion. Third, McKee is in the final year of his rookie contract and just delivered the best performance of the preseason. His market value to the Eagles, as insurance for Jalen Hurts, is probably higher than whatever late pick Seattle is willing to offer. Selling cheap right now would be terrible roster management. Fourth, and this is the most uncomfortable counterpoint, if the Eagles trade either one of them, they are left with Jalen Hurts, 1 single backup, and a rookie. In a league where quarterbacks go down every week, that is a high-risk bet. Carrying 3 quarterbacks costs a spot at another position, but it might be the cheapest cost on the entire roster. So the question I am leaving with you comes in 3 parts. First, would you trade Tanner McKee right now in the final year of his contract? Or would you already be placing the piece for the future? Drop your take in the comments. And third, this is the one that divides the fan base the most. Would you accept Howie Roseman strengthening the reigning Super Bowl champion inside his own conference for a late-round pick? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to update you with the latest Eagles news.